Hi, I'm Stephanie with Schacht Spindle Company, and I'm going to show you how to change your drive band on the Schacht Flatiron wheel. It comes equipped with a poly drive band, and if your drive band gets stretched out, you might want to replace it. In order to do that, we're going to take off this front axle bearing, and you can hold the barrel nut in the back and unscrew the screw from the right hand side of that front axle bearing. Set the pieces to the side. Now I'm going to use the tools that came in bag number 8. I'm going to use the 3/8 inch crescent wrench to hold the nut and unscrew the screw from the left side. We're going to remove that nut, washer, and screw. Set those parts to the side. Now we're going to remove the nut off the front axle bearing. Now that we've removed the front axle bearing, we need to release the drive band, and in order to do this, we are going to release the quick release, bring the front maiden forward just like we would do to change a bobbin, pull the flyer shaft out from the rear bearing, and release this drive band. You can put the flyer back in just to hold it in place until we get the new drive band put on. Now that we've taken the drive band off the flyer and the whirl, we're going to bring it forward and fold it near the hub of the wheel and bring it through this oval hole in the front leg. We're going to just gently lift up that axle and slide out that old drive band. Now, if your drive band has stretched out, and that's why you're replacing your drive band, sometimes you need a larger drive band for larger whirls, and you might want to leave it connected to your wheel and not take it out. Next, we're going to take the new drive band and insert it from the back into that oval hole, and we're just going to reverse the process. We're going to lift up that axle bearing, and it's going to go underneath and back onto that hub, and now the new drive band is installed. We're going to put that front bearing back on the wheel, and we're going to be ready to rock and roll. If you want to leave the additional drive band on, now you have the two drive bands over the axle of the wheel, and you're going to take one of those drive bands and just bring it forward over the front leg, and we're just going to loop that extra drive band around itself and pull the end through that last loop. And we can just leave this extra drive band that's a little bit different length sitting right here on the front without having to remove the front axle bearing again to put on a different size drive band. Now that we've installed the new drive band, we're going to put it around the wheel and the flyer to get it out of the way. Around the wheel, release that front quick release, take off the flyer. Now we're going to want to make sure we have the Scotch tension band around and the new drive band, and reinstall our flyer. Attach the quick release around the whirl, around the wheel, and we're ready to install the front bearing. Now it's time to reinstall the front axle bearing. I'm going to put the bearing on with the washer. Grab the lock nut. We're going to use the wrench from bag number 8. And tighten that lock nut until it's tight. Now we're going to put the screws in to hold this front bearing in place. We're going to insert the machine screw from the front to the back. Place your plastic washer onto the back of that screw. Then once we get that on, we're going to want to put on the lock nut. And I find with the lock nut, if you hold it flat and pull that machine screw out just a bit so that you can hold that nut flat against the back of the front leg and then start to screw the screw in, it's a little bit easier way to get that screw first threaded. We're going to use the 3/8 inch wrench on that lock nut. And you're going to notice that I'm holding my finger on the lock nut to hold it in place with the 3/8 inch wrench flat against the back. And then tighten that screw in from the front. And we're not going to want to tighten that screw in all the way because we're going to use that for the adjustment and realignment of the wheel on this front bearing. So I'm going to leave that a little loose and put in my second machine screw. With the barrel nut that goes on the back. Now, once I have these screws finger tight, we're going to look at doing the same alignment process that you did before to just get that wheel in a nice straight line. And once we've done that, we're going to be able to tighten up those screws.